Hello, welcome back to Graceful Embroidery. At the time of making this video, I am in the process of finishing off the last PDFs and details and converting all the designs in my new collection called Spring Potpourri. And today I am sitting in front of my Epic 3 and we're going to look at the freebie that comes with this collection. Since I last spoke to you, we have had a couple of updates on the Epic 3, so things are a little bit different and vastly improved. I hope to show you a few of those features, but we're concentrating mostly on what we can do with the freebie. Now here we have the screen for embroidering, and as you can see at the moment, and this is very interesting, it didn't occur to me straight away, there is only one symbol on this whole page that is highlighted in the rose quartz, and that is that button there. And that indicates to me that is how I come out of that page. Now we go back to embroidery and we're going to load the freebie that's available. In fact, there are two freebies available. There is this design and there's also a very simple buttonhole. There are 4 buttonholes within the collection, 2 singles and 2 doubles. Now, to find the design, we have to click on the folder here, and you notice as soon as I touch it, it goes that dark colour. So we know that is live, it's turned on. Now we're going to go down here, and this button here, next to my Sugar Plum Fairy from the Nutcracker designs, this is the freebie. And I press it and it comes up on the screen. Let's start at the top and look down and see what's what. Again, we can see that this button is highlighted. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. No, I don't want to clear my ongoing work. I mustn't touch it up there. Right, now the first thing I want to do is I'm going to create another design, and I'm going to duplicate it. That's how I'm going to create a different design. And to show you how I do this will give you a little idea of what you can do on this screen. The screen on the Epic 3 is very different to the Epic and the Epic 2. And my suggestion is you take it very slowly and do a little at a time. And it is, as other people have pointed out, there's only one way to learn this machine, and that's to get embroidering. Now, if I'm going to put this machine up again, this design up again, I need a grid, because obviously it's sitting in the middle of the screen at the moment for the 120 by 120 hoop, but I need a grid. And to do that, we have to go to hoop options. Now, I took me a little while to find this, and we're not going to change the colour of the background, but down here we have a little button that says grid, and we turn that on and you can see that the grid has come on. All right, and to get rid of this page, you've got it, we click that button there, and now we can actually see where the design is. And I'm going to grab hold of it and I'm going to move it up to the top using the grid to help me. And if I want to, this I know is the center line, so I'm going to use these little arrows down here. If I click this one, it goes back to the middle, and that's not what I want. I can move it, or I can use these buttons just to push it up to the top. Now there's no way of knowing where my hoop, or perhaps it is. This isn't very clear on here. I think this is my hoop area. I'm not quite sure about that one. And if you know, please do let me know. Right, down here we have edit design, and this is basically what we're going to do. And we've got all these icons down here, but this is the important one. The eye will give you information on what all the little icons mean. Now we're going to duplicate it, and then we're going to mirror it top to bottom. So we need the duplicate sign, and we need the mirror end to end, because as you can see it's top, bottom, or right like that. So to close it, we close that. So here's the duplicate one, and immediately we get another one just slightly offset. Now down here we've got horizontal mirroring, and this is vertical. So as you can see, that's come down here, and I know that this design will still fit the 120 hoop when it's been duplicated like this. As you can see, I'm moving it across so that it's sitting directly below this one. Now, I have to admit, at this point, I thought on my previous machines there were icons which helped me select everything, but there's no way I can select both individually, but I can't select both of them. And to do this, I need to go to this button here. These are layers. And as you can see, we've got the two designs sitting there. Now, we haven't got an information icon on this, so we have to use our noddle or read the manual. Now, these ones aren't lit up, so they're obviously not showing. So we've got this one here. I'm not quite sure what that is, but I know that if I click that one, I can see that it's put the box around the whole thing. So that's what I want to do. And if you notice, now this one is highlit. So if I click that one, that enables me to go back. So not that one, that one. Right, and let's close it once again, going to the emblem there. Right, and that's how we've done our design. Now we can see, what else can we see on here? We can see that it's selected for the 120 hoop. We can see now that the stitch count is 6,822, and we're all set up for the Q foot. Now, I'm not going to actually stitch this out during this video, but what we need to do, we've done some editing and we need to save it. If we click that, and if you're connected to the My Sew Net, that comes up, and right, we've got a capital there, and then we go to lowercase, freebie, duplicate, I'm going to call it, and we have the option of saving it. And where am I going to put it? I'll put it in the library, just for in case I want to come back. It's always good to save your designs when you've been editing them on the machine, because you never know whether you're going to do something silly or you're not being able to finish stitching it out. So it's always best to have that little insurance that you've saved your work. Now, what else can we do here? We've looked at the hoop options, and if you've got a colour, if you've got a design that is not showing up very well on the screen, you can change the colour. Now at the moment this centre bit is white, and we have these little curved bits where we can change the colours. Now, if we wanted to make it a black background, we bring this one all the way around to here, and it's sitting on a black background. Go back to hoop options again, and let's do something a little bit more exciting. Now, why hasn't... I've got to take that one up, and then the purple shows. And it's sitting on a purple background. Now, here we're going to have a look at the editing the colours. As you see, it's got one design. I find it takes a little bit of practice to actually scroll this line upwards, and perhaps that's the easier way of doing it. We've got a palette of 8 colours here, all sulky rayon colours. And I'm just seeing what we can do. Now, if we want to combine these colours, then we do that on the stitch out page. Right, embroidery stitch out settings. This tells us which standard plate we've got on, and I've got the straight one because there is less of a hole there, so it holds your embroidery. I've got my sensor cue foot, you can just see it in the corner. Whoops. And here we can choose whether to baste around the design or base around the hoop. And I would suggest, if you're ever embroidering on slippery satin, that you do both, because that's double securing to hold your fabric on top of the stabilizer. We've got automatic thread cutter and automatic jump stitch selected. I'm going to say based around the design, and it is a lot easier to do this at this point rather than when you've actually moved ahead and all your colours are showing up. Now we're going to merge and we're going to see what happens. Sort. Right, and we'll have a look at what that actually does. As you can hear, my embroidery arm is coming across and it's telling me to attach the hoop. Now, I'm not sure whether I can go ahead from this point without touching the hoop. There you see that the basting is selected already, so it doesn't make a difference. I'm going to turn it off so I can move to the next. And here we have the first 2 colours. As you can see, these are all doubled up. Now, a word of warning. That doesn't look too bad, but there are some designs where this merge, where it's taking the colours, will not work. There is only, you can colour sort in embroidery software, and the Husqvarna, the My Sew Net does a marvellous job, and it seems to know if a colour needs to be stitched again late or stitched later because there is an overlap. But sometimes when you do it here on the screen, it's not so accurate, so you have to be very careful. And if I turn it off, did you notice it went back? Now we've got 8 colours here. Now let's put the merge on again. As the digitizer, I should know whether this is accurate. I'm quite surprised that the blue's stitching out before the pink. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad, but as you notice, we have 2 lots of yellow. That's the yellow of the celandines, and that's the yellow of the centres. It looks like it's accurate, and no doubt it's better on this machine than it's been on previous ones, but I'm just telling you to be careful. And then obviously one of the other things we can do is turn it to one colour, and that means it will stitch it out in just one colour. Doesn't look very nice, does it? Right. Now, ghost mode is where it shows you just the colour that's going to stitch first. All right, there you are. There's the next one. There's quite an art to positioning everything on this screen because you've got all these, there we are. We can see what each colour's going to do. So I'm going to do the merge, the sort and merge, and see what happens. There you are, it does that same bit at the top. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's all looking good. Now this is the yellow. Yeah, that's that celandine. Yeah. But more complicated designs, you may not get such an accurate stitch out. Yep, I think that's enough of that. But that's what the ghost mode means. And I'm going to get rid of that purple. It's annoying me. Oh, I have to go back to do that. Now, I'm going to have to quickly go and get a hoop and make out I'm stitching this out. Because I want to show you a feature which has appeared. I'm not quite sure when it came or which update, and it was something that I was struggling with, I must admit. Right. Now, down here on Stitch Out Progress, you can see when I opened that, the embroidery got smaller so that we can pull it over to the side. This picture of your embroidery and this chart here of your embroidery threads can be altered. The Stitch Out panel at the bottom here cannot. And here it tells you, lists all the threads, but this is important. It doesn't show you how many stitches there are for the threads. And if you want that to show, then I suggest that you get your mobile phone and you have the app going, because the app tells you how many stitches there are in each colour, so it gives you an indication of how long it's going to take. And so I like having my phone alongside me, taking it away with me so that it beeps and tells me also when there's a breakage or when I need to change the thread. But that helps. And the thing that's new that wasn't here before was this stitch and total. Before, if you had a stop and when something went wrong and you had to look at your embroidery, and if you needed to go back a little bit, there was no indication of where you were on that particular colour. But we now have this little button here which alternates between stitch and colour block. Now it's showing us this particular colour block, and we can scroll through it and you can hear my hoop moving and it'll go through the stitches. If we go to the next one, no, we can't. All right. If you click the middle one, this little box comes up, which, is my friend. I use this constantly. And so you can tell it to go back to number 1. Click the arrow and it goes back to the first stitch. Click it again. Let's see what else we can do. let's put 60 stitches. There we are, and it's gone to stitch number 60. And you can move them backwards and forwards individually. And if you need to scroll in to look at your embroidery to see exactly where it is, you can see that I'm scrolled in at 300% there, so that's very useful. And I'm so pleased that I've got this back because I needed it. Down here, we've also got the thread portioning, but I confess that I don't often touch that. I don't feel there's any need to. But we have this corner check down here, and every time you press it, it will move the hoop, as you can see in the corner there. It will move it to each corner, and that's very useful before you start stitching out a design if you just want to make sure that you have enough, the position is accurate and that it's not overlapping onto something on your garment that it shouldn't. So that is a lovely way of checking. Right, and it's gone back to the stitch we want to do. Now I think that's all I wanted to show you today. This freebie is now available. If you go to Graceful Embroidery, let's close this down. There we are, and we'll close this one off as well so we can look at the whole picture. Now, it won't let me go back beyond that page until I remove the hoops from the embroidery unit. I've removed it. I'm going to go to hoop options and I'm going to make this white again. Right. Thank you for watching. Do download this. Oh dear. Do download this from Graceful Embroidery. It's on the collection page where all 5 sets in the collection are listed, and it's also on the first set. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're enjoying all these videos and they're proving helpful. Bye for now.